What's going on, folks? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and I wanted to talk to you today about a kind of sister product, if you remember this, the Oracle Story Generator from a long time ago. This was a product by our good friends over at Nord Games, and this was a series of cards designed to help you write stories, whether that's for use in your TTRPG to write plot hooks or campaigns, or maybe just for your, you write novels or short stories, things like that. Well, they've taken that a step further, and we now have the Oracle Monster Generator, which is probably pretty self-explanatory, but let's go ahead and take a look. It is available. It's up on BackerKit right now. There's still 24 days left to go, and they've totally shredded past their initial goal, so it's definitely going to be a thing. But let's just see what'll get unlocked, and we'll kind of talk through how it works and kind of give you a refresher if you don't remember the Oracle Story Generator. But also there will be a link in the description, which is a referral link. So if you pick it up from there, lets them know that Nerd Immersion was where they came from. So that also helps me when it helps for, future sponsorships and things like that. Which, again, thank you to Nord Games for sponsoring this video. So let's go ahead and take a look. Here it is. As I said, it has almost $70,000 raised right now. And also, I love the art. The art's fantastic. So 420 tarot-sized cards, 7 unique decks, dynamic and versatile, designed for any fantasy RPG. Again, it's not just D&D. Remember, the monsters being created are monsters, right? They don't necessarily need to be... You might be able to find an analog to them in Dungeons and Dragons, but maybe Pathfinder or into the Mists or whatever kind of games you want to play. Again, it's primarily fantasy, but, maybe you could use them elsewhere. So it says back the project in the first 48 hours. Unfortunately, we're past that at this point for a free layers generator PDF. But let's take a look at the decks you're going to get. They're going to be themed around the locale in which you would fight the creature, right? So desert, forest, mountain, swamp, tundra, and underground. Again, if you're in a D&D world, you might call that Underdark, and waterways. Can we also just take a moment to look at how great the art looks for all of these? So there is, this right here is, again, the kind of how it works. I have a picture of it here, but this is sort of the breakdown, the anatomy of a card, if you will. So keyword at the top here, it says leader. Description: leaders are creatures that give bonuses and boons to their allies, allowing them to take down foes by working in groups. They might be able to command those to fight with them or magically elevate them. And then it kind of gives you, again, there's a little bit, this is probably not too important to too many people. You use the card number, the deck type that it's from. Again, this was a desert type, and then there's option and detail. So it's got 4 options there. You could just pick one if you decide that it fits better for the monster. You could roll a d4, but basically, what is it going to do? Could it bolster command, martial advantage, or tactical? Notice, again, these are system agnostic situations. It's not telling you that it's going to provide advantage on something, but it will kind of give you an idea that maybe you could allocate some sort of mechanics for based on the game that you're using. So bolster, right? The creature makes their allies impervious to attacks or hard to take down, perhaps by creating fiery shields around them, right? You could interpret this in a 5e world. Maybe they add the fire shield spell to their allies or something like that. All right, so how does it work? So the cards are separated into those different categories based on the locale of the monster. They contain these sort of 5 cards that you can see here in this kind of rainbow spread. We have red, purple, blue, green, and yellow, and they all kind of work together. You take one of each for each monster, and it will kind of build you a scenario. So we can see here for the desert monster, it says a monstrosity, and notice that there are 4 options per card. So you could possibly pull this set of 4 cards and use this 4 different times, assuming you just went across the board, but you can obviously mix and match for a ton of options. So this particular one says a Naga is hiding in the dunes from a recent sandstorm. That's the purple card. Because again, it's monstrosity, hiding, lurker, cloud, escape. Or escape-e. And it says it is a lurker that lies in wait to ambush its prey. Again, you can kind of see here, number 1 is ambush. Here's a swamp monster one. We'll get to a closer look at that when we get to it. But it can create a cloud of disease. in the form of a noxious gas. It's recently escaped the servitude of a more powerful creature. And you can see a couple of options. I'll use this one with the swamp monster because this is much more zoomed in, although my head is kind of blocking some of it, but we'll read through, right? So swamp monster, right? So Fae was the first card that was pulled. And then on that list, there is Green Hag, Darkling, Meanlock, Redcap. Obviously, those are, again, very specific to more Dungeons and Dragons style, but they could work in Pathfinder or otherwise. And then the purple card here is kind of like an adjective or a verb, right? So dragging. The creature is dragging something through the swamp. It might rest on a raft atop the mud or be sliding through the sludge. So what is it dragging? We have treasure, goods, vehicle, or corpse. This instance is dragging a large bag of treasure along the boardwalk that snakes through the muck. And then we have this sort of middle card here, which is minion, right? Minions are creatures that are relatively harmless except in large numbers. And then what kind of minions? We have defense, offensive, pack, flank. It is a minion and part of an unseen pack. So there are multiple other red caps now that we know. And they are, I guess, potentially invisible. Right? You can see it could be a defender. It could be striker, elite. We saw leader as an option as well. And then it says it can bestow a curse on a target, and we have the options here of agility, brawn, intellect, or knowledge. Again, you can probably equate these to some sort of statistic in whatever RPG you're playing, right? So it can bestow a curse of brawn. The character can hinder the brawn of another creature, causing it to become weakened, exhausted, less damaging, etc. So again, in a D&D term, we're probably going to be nerfing strength in some way. And then lastly, it has helpless, which is kind of, again, the more adjective towards the end. We saw this one was an escapee. This one was wanted. That one has a passion for crafting. It's kind of like a quirk about the character. This one is helpless, right? It appears helpless and elderly, but that's a deception, right? So we have helpless, elderly, young, injured, or stuck. So again, you can see how each one of these cards, there's a variety of different options, right? And then there's 4 on each of them. You could use this in a near infinite way to combine and mix and match. And this is something that's really good for someone like me, who sometimes you always have the best intentions when it comes to preparation for a game you're going to run. And you sit down and sometimes, I hate to say it, but I just draw a blank. I want to do a thing. Or like, hey, the party might end up in this I teased this swamp. Maybe the party will end up there. And then it's like, okay, well, what do I want to do? And then my mind likely will trigger like, oh, cool, I want to make this cool magic item. And I'll focus on that and be like, oh, I didn't think of anything to do. Well, I could pull out between the story generator and the monster generator, come up with a story to get them to the swamp, and then use this to kind of pull and quickly generate one of multiple scenarios to find a monster or series of creatures that the party will fight, right? The red cap example that we just talked about was they're a pack of red caps. They're a minion. Perhaps we can use those cards again to figure out who the leader is that was running all of these red caps. So a lot of interesting options for you to just very quickly, or you can go real quick, just pull it, go through the list, roll a d4, pick one off the top of the list, pick a number. You could even have a fun time like, hey, player A, pick a number between 1 and 4, and they pick a number, and you're like, all right, that's that. That actually could be a really interesting way to have the players be involved in the design of the adventure, whether they don't know it or not. Like, hey, let's see what we're gonna do today, and you'll have the players pick a number. Each player picks a number, but 5 up to 5 players, and then you say, okay, and it's almost like a tarot card reading, which is obviously things we've seen in different fantasy adventures where people are reading tarot cards to spell out the journey or prophecy. Maybe this is a way you can get the party involved, and this could be fun for one-shots. That could be a fun way to do it for, like, maybe you do put a storyteller in your game, and then that's the kind of the story that they tell, the prophecy that they divine. Or, you know what, hey guys, let's just try and see if this works. We're going to go for a one-shot, and, well, you know what? Let's just use this to generate what you're going to fight. We'll let it happen on the fly. I'll pull a card. Maybe I tell you up front, okay, you pulled a red cap, and you pulled the dragging a bag of treasure. Or maybe I just say, okay, and I take a little note, and then we all go down the line, and then I, almost like a game jam, but for like a one-shot. Could be kind of fun. All right, so let's talk pledge levels here, right? $25 is going to get you the PDF. That's pretty good for the amount of options you're going to get there. We saw this similar with the Oracle Story Generator as well. It's 150 pages. And as you can see, a lot of this stuff is already done. In my mind, this particular thing is you're better off getting the physical copy because the physical versions are nice to have those tarot cards. I prefer the physical medium for that. But obviously, if you only play online, PDF is probably going to be your best bet. So again, $50 is going to get you that box set in the form of 420 cards, which would just be 150 pages per PDF. For $62, you can get the combo of both. That's a pretty good deal. And then again, for $100, you can get the bundle of the story generator that we were talking about earlier, along with the monster generator as well. They also have the character bundle, which is the Oracle character generator. Again, similar concept, less for creating stories or monsters, but more for creating NPCs, possibly your own player character, things like that. And for $150, you can go all in and get one of each. Again, these are the kind of thing that you're never going to be upset to have this in your collection. This might sit on a shelf for a little while, and then all of a sudden you say, hey, you know what, I need to come up with something, and then boom, you bust it out, and there goes your whole story right there. And then obviously they have some bundles here for retailers, right, if you want to have these on your shelves. And then again, a little bit about fulfillment and shipping and things like that. Again, Nord Games is a tried and true, time-tested company, so you're not really going to run into any issues about worrying for whether or not you're going to see a release. I know that's sometimes an issue people worry about with newer companies, but yeah, the only thing I didn't see is a timeline on when they're looking to deliver. So let's go ahead and see. Oh, wait, hang on. They also do have it in Roll20, Alchemy, Shard. I think that's it, but you can get that in a couple of different virtual tabletops, depending on if that's your preference. Let's go ahead and see if the FAQ tells us when will it be fulfilled. The Oracle Monster PDF will be fully fulfilled immediately after orders are locked down for this campaign. So the PDF is already generated. It's ready to go. So if you back it at a PDF level, basically as soon as it closes, you're going to have it in hand. So if you're worried about waiting for a long lead time, that's not going to be the case. Now, it says the Layers Generator PDF will be fulfilled around 6 weeks after the campaign ends. If you're looking to get the physical box, we will begin manufacturing process within 2 to 4 weeks of the PDFs being delivered. So again, after the PDFs get those. Once manufacturing has begun, we usually expect products to arrive in our warehouse within 3 to 4 months. At that point, your pledge rewards will be packed up and shipped to you. So we're looking at probably another month. So call it July timeframe before it's sort of, I guess maybe early, mid to late June. The PDFs will be out to everybody, and then they're saying 3 to 4 months, July, August, September, around October, probably October, November timeframe, you might be getting these physical boxes in hand. So yeah, I definitely going to be picking this up myself because I definitely like these. Again, the box, the quality is nice. The just sheer infinite value that this can have. And I even talked myself into coming up with some interesting ideas while making this video with this concept of either using it for a prophecy or using it for like a fun game jam kind of one shot. Like, let's use it and see what we can come up with and just build it like there, let the players choose their own fate in that way. So anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the Oracle Monster Generator from our friends over at Nord Games. Once again, a thank you to them for sponsoring this video. I will have that tracking link at the top of the video description as well as a pinned comment if you'd like to pick up a copy for yourself. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.